UFC fighting too this weekend. Action-packed weekend. After the show, our podcast goes up. If you miss any of today's show, be sure to listen to the podcast. Search Covino and Rich wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to follow and review the podcast. Give it 5 stars. Covino and Rich wherever you get your podcast, and our bonus show, Overpromised.
I heard Ed McMahon gave it 3 3/4 stars.
Well, that's why he gets no swig.
Stars.
Yeah.
But hey, we're having so much interaction today between the baseball acting topic and Ohtani, and now this plane etiquette and ball game etiquette. We might have to push the last one standing till tomorrow.
Well, hang tight because we're going to wrap up this conversation. We have plenty of games, plenty of time, plenty of prizes to give away. But based on the plane etiquette story with Michelle Williams, Destiny's Child, it got us thinking. There's plane etiquette. We love talking about that because you really could separate the seasoned travelers from the amateur weak-ass travelers that don't know what's going on. You see it the minute you get to security. Security line, you're like, oh, geez, Louise, come on.
Sorry, you got your belt.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINC AM Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 4-2. Drive lives out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Nice job, Ricardo. Welcome from Citi Field in Queens, New York on a chilly, damn 41-degree Monday night in the Big Apple as the Fish continue this 6-game road trip. Miami begins their second and final leg of it right here tonight. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's game 11 of 162, and tonight we bring you game 1 of this 3-game NL East set between your 5-4 Miami Marlins and the 6-3 New York Mets. Sandy Alcantara was supposed to start yesterday. Mother Nature had other ideas, and after a postponement, now Sandy is welcoming his second child. Congratulations to him and his family. The Marlins have placed Sandy on the paternity list. Next man up, 25-year-old right-hander Valente Belloso, who will make his second start of the season for the Marlins and his second career at Citi Field. He will go opposite Kodai Senga, a familiar individual that we saw last week. He will look to continue this win streak for the New York Mets here tonight. It all starts at 7:10 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Monday night with Jack McMullen and Craig Minervini. I'm Steven Stroud. We got a great show for you ahead. We'll start where both teams are at. We'll get Clayton on for a little one-on-one as we preview game 1 of this set. We'll get you at the count with Valente Belloso and Kodai Senga. Jack and Craig will jump in for some back and forth, our Expo question of the day at Marlins Radio and Steve's guarantee to victory. We'll start here where both teams are at, and we'll begin with the New York Mets, 6-3, winners of 4 in a row. Last year, the Mets started their season 3-6. A lot different here to start 2025. Now, New York is rolling, but for the reasons you probably wouldn't expect after inking Juan Soto and re-signing Pete Alonso. It's been all about the pitching for Carlos Mendoza's Mets. They allowed just 3 total runs in their 3-game sweep over the Blue Jays this weekend. No team in baseball has a better ERA from their pitching staff than the Mets. Their starters, they rank first with a 2.40 ERA, and the relievers have been even better, a 1.29 ERA. They lost Sean Manaea to an oblique injury. He will be back in the season. And then Frankie Montas as well Michelle was diagnosed with a high-grade right lat strain and was shut down for 6 to 8 weeks. So the Mets are doing this without Manaea and Montas, and may I add Blackburn as well. The ones that have stepped up in the bullpen, Reed Garrett, Max Kranick, Huáscar Brazoban, all have pitched a combined 18 in the third. They haven't given up a run, and they've inherited 16 runners. The overall tenor in Queen, if this offense gets going and they pitch like this, it's going to be a fun summer to be a Mets fan. Let's get to the Marlins. 5-4. First time over 500 in a traditional season after 9 games since 2014. Yes, they were over 500 in 2020. That's why I said traditional. And after a 10-0 loss on Monday, Clayton McCullough's squad, they just continue to not blink. They gave Atlanta a taste of their own medicine Tuesday night. They shut out the Braves, winning 5-0. Thanks to Cal Quantrill's performance and that bullpen that continues to flourish. The Marlins are 4th in baseball in reliever innings. Calvin Fauché bounced back after giving up that big grand slam in the series finale in Miami to Pete Alonso. Anthony Bender shut the door. And how about Ronnie Enriquez? 5 2/3 combined so far this season. No runs across 3 games. And then offensively, Tuesday night, we saw Matt Mervis, his first ever multi-home run game. He also had his first home run against a southpaw, a big confidence boost for Matt Mervis. Another lefty, Liam Hicks. He had a night to remember. How about his first ever RBI, first ever multi-hit game, first ever caught stealing, caught shutout, and win behind the plate. So both teams feeling good about themselves going into Monday night. Bundle up. It's 42 degrees. It's going to be an interesting night at the ballpark here at Citi Field. Let's break. We'll get Clayton McCullough, your manager of the Miami Marlins, next to preview Game 1 of this 3-game set between the Marlins and the Mets. 7:10 first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Batter up, homeowners.
6 fielder's choice. Hill aboard in the first pitch to Nick Fortes. This line down the left field line. That gets in. It's a fair ball. Pham tracking that towards the wall. Hill can really motor. He's around third. Throw is late towards the plate, and it's an RBI double for the guy that cannot stop hitting. Nick Fortes, his 3rd extra base hit in his 3rd game, and the Marlins tied at 1 in the second pitch.
Protection hit a home.
1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up, and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. A shot the other way on the day his dad is inducted. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th. 2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again.
Derek Hill here with us now. 3rd walk-off win. What the heck's going on?
Little fist frenzy out there. I'm going to call it that. Or a little Marlins mayhem. Whatever you want to call it. But boys are just out here competing. Just trying to show the world that we're not no pushover.
What are you trying to read out there on the bases, specifically when you're at 3rd?
Honestly, at 3rd, right there, we were seeing it through, but we do a bunch of early work, just getting those good reads. Got to credit the coaching staff for keeping us on point.
What was that moment like seeing Griffin Conine hit that home run in front of his dad, who was inducted into the Legends Hall of Fame? Derek Hill, for our audience that are on radio, Connor Norby just gave him a nice water.
The one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Back here on the Marlins Radio Network on a Monday night. Apologize for what's going on StreamYard, on X, and YouTube. That's on me. Accountability. Game 1 of this 3-game set. It'll be Kodai Senga, who will go opposite Valente Belloso. No Sandy Alcantara. Congratulations to him. Him and his family brought in their 2nd child. Again, Valente Belloso was called up and will start. The 25-year-old Mexican right-hander will go opposite Kodai Senga. It is 42 degrees. It just stopped raining. It has been cold. Us Miamians are, of course, soft. We got our winter jackets on. But Clayton McCullough and company are ready to go here tonight. Let's send it down to my conversation that I had with him before Game 1 of this 3-game set. All right, Clayton, as we get ready for Game 1 of this 3-game set, what is the coldest game that you've managed or played in your career?
Ooh, I would have to think it's probably some point back in the Midwest League in 2008 or 2009. Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois. This place can get pretty chilly in April sometimes. So I would and I don't know if we quite had the same type of clothing, heating access. It was, while it's cold here, the big leagues, it seems like it's a little easier to stay warm.
It's about 40 degrees here in Queens, a little bit of rain as well. The elements, we know it's harder for pitchers to get their grips, but what about for hitters as well? Just give me the whole elements for the pitcher and hitters.
Yeah, the pitchers, like just the grip, it gets damp like this, it gets cold, the ability to, spin the ball and maybe command it as well as you normally would when the conditions are a little more ideal, from the hitting standpoint. It's more, it's a better idea tonight to get the ball in the barrel than to catch it off the end or the handle. That's for sure. But I think, guys do this all the time. I mean, so it's probably as much like, what is the wind going to be like tonight? Because can be a tricky aspect of things and trying to negotiate that. I think guys, once they get on there and start playing, the cold will be in a lot of ways a non-factor.
You just saw this team a couple of days ago. I think it's the fourth time in the last 6 or 7 days. Who do you lean on, or what do you try to lean on to maybe get a competitive advantage when you've seen such a team in such a short period of time?
I think it was nice to hear from a lot of the hitters today in the meeting that we just played them so recently, with many of them not having their first at bats against particular pitchers. But now when you do it, have a short turnaround for them to be able to speak and voice what it felt like in the box, how they reacted, how they felt like the fastball played or how pitches were spinning. And so for them to be able to then take a little bit of some initiative in that meeting and speak as a group, because, we have information for them and provided, but when you're in there feeling it, the ability to, relay that to your teammates is cool to hear. And as our group continues to get, more of a Rolodex built up on, opposing pitchers and teams and how they're attacked, we hope that's something they continue to do to kind of, pass that along to each other, prior to game and in game as well.
We were supposed to see Sandy pitch yesterday in Atlanta. We were postponed. Congratulations to him, by the way, second child. What does his timeline look like?
Yeah. So, yep. Congrats to Sandy. It sounds like everything went well to him and his family, and he'll keep himself moving, in the Miami area, until we get back, and then we'll get him back online, back in the rotation during that Washington series when we're home after this trip.
I asked you this during spring training about the winning blueprint, right, and the team's identity. Do you feel like through 9 games, you guys have an understanding of here's how we need to win games, and this is what we need to do from an execution standpoint?
I think we've seen that you need to play high quality defense, and the margin for error to win a major league game is small when you give teams extra outs or you give them extra bases. In turn, what stress that adds onto your pitching staff, and so I think our guys recognize that, and then offensively, the ability to try as you can to have a solid game plan and be stubborn and go execute on that. Try to pass the baton, build up counts on starters. Try to create as much traffic as you can, on the hopes and belief that the more traffic you just create, the more opportunities you get that you'll cash in on those. And then on the pitching side, it's I think the big thing we're continuing to stress is strike one, and I think one thing we keep going for, limiting some of the walks. Again, like kind of on errors, that's they just end up kind of compounding and stressing, make more stressful situations. So our guys, for the most part, have done a really nice job in that regard. So I think they're just highlighting some of the things that go into winning is high quality defense, being opportunistic on the bases, and offensively, end of the day, like putting it back together, having an approach and moving the ball forward. Especially when you get runners in scoring position.
Last one for you, and you guys have pitched really well. And with Valente Belloso, I think we all think of him as scrappy, a competitor, and probably elements that he could thrive in because he is kind of an old school throwback guy. What gives you guys confidence to bring him up in short notice to start on the road here against the Mets?
I think we believe no environment's going to be too much for Valente, and he'll be ready, and he's not going to back down from anything. And there's a ton of pitchability there, as well as the stuff as a whole is solid to plus. So I think that's the one thing is, you can put Valente out in any situation, and that he's not going to back down, and he'll compete, as long as he's asked to be out there.
Thanks for the time, Clayton.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Excellent stuff right there with Marlins manager Clayton McCullough. A couple things I do want to address. we talked about the blueprint to winning, and it is very encouraging that such a young team has figured out what they need to do to win. And we talk about the pitching. He talked about the defense. Now, the Marlins have to get better in this department. They've committed the 4th most errors in baseball. It is a young team. Different guys are playing different positions. The second thing, the arms. I mean, it can't be understated. From the starters to the relievers, I mean, it has been a really good outside of the Mets game 2, or the game 1 rather, on Monday, where they were blown out, and the Monday night game in Atlanta where you lose 10-0. The other 7 games, the Marlins have pitching incredibly well. And tonight, Valente Belloso will make his second start. He did make a start last August at Citi Field, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 punch-outs. Didn't get a chance to talk to him yesterday, of course, because he was recalled. So I did want to ask him if this was probably, I mean, I guess we can assume, the coldest game that Valente Belloso has ever pitched in. It is 40 degrees. I'm not trying to be histrionic. It's not 20 and snowing, but it is going to be difficult for these pitchers, especially like to spin it, to get a grip on the ball. Valente Belloso and Kodai Senga being one of those pitchers that really rely on the spin. So it'll be interesting here tonight. Belloso will go opposite Kodai Senga. We will preview that matchup next on the Marlins Radio Network.
This guy slugged over 400, had a extra base hit in a Marlins uniform. First pitch, Mervis crushes out to right. Kelnick is back. He's looking up, and it's into the chop house and gone. Matt Mervis with the tone setter in the first. A 2-run homer, and the Marlins up 2-0 right away. Serving as the backup catcher right now. 1-1. Now on a bouncing ball over to third base. Paulie has it. On to second for 1. On to first in time for the double play. Nearly a shift beater. The lefty bat Baldwin bounced one over to typical shortstop positioning. That's where Graham Paulie was.
Line drive, that's a base hit. And there's the first Major League RBI for Liam Hicks. Have a night. And the Marlins lead 3-0.
Baseball season is 18.
There's another drive by Mervis, deep to right field. That ball is gone and way out of here. Have a night, Matt Mervis. His second homer as a Marlin. A solo shot here in the top of the 7th.
Whoa. Family looking on. They're loving it. 104 off the bat. 421 feet to right center field. Mervis in Miami. Start to dig it.
A lot of firsts for you today. You had your first extra base hit, your first RBI, your first caught stealing, your first multi-hit game. Which one was your favorite?
Probably first win behind the plate. I'd say that's the most important. So I'd say that was my first, that was the most important thing to me, and I was really happy with that.
What if I told you last year you were in Double-A, that a year later you would be navigating this lineup, shutting them out with the help of your pitchers, of course, and having an offensive game like you had today?
It'd be pretty hard to believe you, to be honest. I know what I'm capable of, but obviously that's a little, you wouldn't really believe it. But yeah, I mean.
Hey, this is Xavier Edwards here, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Well, it's great to hear from Xavier Edwards. He will be back in the lineup. I guess he technically didn't miss any games because we were supposed to play yesterday, but was dealing with some right knee soreness. He is in the lineup tonight and leading off. Steven Strom here, Jack McMullen, Craig Minervini. Ready to give you some Marlins baseball here on this Monday night, 42 degrees. We went over it. It's been chilly. It's been raining all day. It has subsided. We're going to play some baseball right here on the Marlins Radio Network. We'll start here with the matchup on the mound. Valente Belloso, 25-year-old Mexican right-hander who was recalled after being optioned after his first start 2 Saturdays ago against Pittsburgh. Tossed 4 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 punch-outs, and 2 walks, 64% strike rate. He was then optioned. Now, you're probably wondering, for you nerds out there, the MLB rule when you option a player is you must wait 15 days until you are recalled. Well, we've got an exception. Sandy Alcantara was placed on the paternity list, so he is exempt. Valente Belloso is up. He will make his second career start here at Citi Field. He did start in Queens back on August 18th of 2024, went 5 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 punch-outs, and a walk. Valente Belloso was one of the best pitchers for the Marlins in the second half. He didn't make the cut to begin spring training or to begin the regular season, but with the injuries to Edward Cabrera and Ryan Weathers, he did make one start against the Pirates and really did well. Again, 4 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 punch-outs, and 2 walks. He will go opposite a man we just saw, Kodai Senga, 32-year-old right-hander from Japan. He will make his second start of the season and his second start against the Miami Marlins. He allowed 4 runs, 2 of them earned on 3 hits and a walk over 5 frames. He K'd 8. Kyle Stowers hit that early 2-run shot in the first. Senga generated 16 whiffs on 77 pitches, 49 of them for strikes. Here's the big thing with Kodai Senga. The time to get this man is in the first inning. Career-wise in the opening frame, he's got a 4.65 ERA. That is the highest ERA in any inning, 244 batting average, highest of any inning, and 23 walks in that first opening frame. That is the highest of any inning across his career, which has really just been a season for Kodai Senga. He has made 5 starts against Miami. He's 3-1 with a 2.63 ERA over 27 1/3. Let's hope that goes up here tonight at Citi Field. So it'll be Valente Belloso, Kodai Senga. We'll break here. We'll have Craigie and Jack on next to get us ready for game 1 of this 3-game set. Marlins looking to stop this winning streak that the Mets have and get off to a pretty good start on their second leg of this trip right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Hey, it's the good extra base hit in a Marlins uniform. First pitch, Mervis crushes out to right. Kelnick is back. He's looking up, and it's into the chop house and gone. Matt Mervis with the tone setter in the first. A 2-run homer, and the Marlins up 2-0 right away. Serving as the backup catcher right now. 1-1. Now on a bouncing ball over to third base. Paulie has it. On to second for 1. On to first in time for the double play. Nearly a shift beater. The lefty bat Baldwin bounced one over to typical shortstop positioning. That's where Graham Paulie was.
Line drive, that's a base hit. And there's the first Major League RBI for Liam Hicks. Have a night. And the Marlins lead 3-0.
Baseball season is 18.
There's another drive by Mervis, deep to right field. That ball is gone and way out of here. Have a night, Matt Mervis. His second homer as a Marlin. A solo shot here in the top of the 7th.
Whoa. Family looking on. They're loving it. 104 off the bat, 421 feet to right center field. Mervis in Miami. Start to dig it.
A lot of firsts for you today. You had your first extra base hit, your first RBI, your first caught stealing, your first multi-hit game. Which one was your favorite?
Probably first win behind the plate. I'd say that's the most important. So I'd say that was my first. That was the most important thing to me, and I was really happy with that.
What if I told you last year you were in Double-A, that a year later you would be navigating this lineup, shutting them out with the help of your pitchers, of course, and having an offensive game like you had today?
It'd be pretty hard to believe you, to be honest. I know what I'm capable of, but obviously that's a little, you wouldn't really believe it. But yeah, I mean, awesome job by the pitching staff.
Or visit pioneerroofingcompany.com.
I'm going to go with Matt Mervis. His father's here. I sat next to his dad on the bus yesterday. The girlfriend's driving in or flying in. She'll be here for this game.
Got to show out
tonight. And he's due, too. We saw a nice spring training from him. He also told me he loves the park, likes the way the ball travels. I'm going lefty stick, 4th guy up in the lineup for the Marlins, Matt Mervis.
In a Marlins uniform. First pitch, Mervis crushes out to right. Kelnick is back. He's looking up, and it's into the chop house and gone. Matt Mervis with the tone setter in the first. A 2-run homer, and the Marlins up 2-0 right away.
Well, that was the wonderful Craig Minervini, absolutely nailing it on Wednesday. Liam Hicks hits his, had a bunch of firsts, but Grego's pick was Matt Mervis. He delivered in a big way, not 1 home run, 2 home runs. And you know what, guys? I thought, who cares if it's a day old? We're here in New York. That was the last game we played. Matt Mervis delivered in a big-time way. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited about this trip. Welcome in here. Marlins on deck. Steven Strom, Craig Minervini, and Jack McMillan. 7-10 first pitch, game 1 of 3 here, guys. But just overall, I guess, vibes here. We'll start with Craigie. coming into our second leg, and I guess we can call it a split in Atlanta.
Big. Gotta win in Atlanta, the place the Marlins have never won historically in that ballpark, except in the playoffs and the other park where they did beat them in 1997, 4-2, and actually won Game 6 there. But it's been a house of horrors for a lot of teams, not just the Marlins. And to pull that out, especially coming back, you mentioned the resiliency a few times. I know Jack has on the broadcast, to come back after you're walloped the night before against that kind of team, and you're ready for the Braves to take off. The only shame of the weekend was the Marlins weren't able to play yesterday. You really wanted to play that game yesterday with Sandy pitching. Congratulations to the Alcantara family, a new baby girl. Sandy on paternity leave will not pitch until the homestand.
Yeah, and to your point, Craig, I mean, it felt like the Marlins were primed for a good go at a series win yesterday. With Sandy on the bump, they were going to see Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes was a late make in terms of being in the starting rotation for Atlanta. That was a guy that is, it wasn't really looking like he was going to be a starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, but injuries, Spencer Strider out for the first month. He was going to throw, but unfortunately that game got washed out in Atlanta. How fun would a series win in that ballpark have been? But now you come to this place, and you know what? It's going to be really fun to watch what these guys can do with the temps in the low 40s. What is the watch telling me right now? 43 degrees?
40 degrees. I mean, it is cold out here, and that's where we're going to start. It's been the theme of the night. Let's not beat around a bush here. I mean, it is 40 degrees. It's been raining all day. I want to talk elements. I asked Clayton McCullough in segment 2 about the elements for the pitcher and the batters, but interested in both of yours take. We'll start here with Jack. What do we have to look out for when you're playing in these types of weather conditions?
Yeah, I mean, soft contact, that's really going to hurt in terms of hitters. Like Clayton said it, you don't want to hit it off the end of the bat or in on the handle. That is really going to sting. It's not going to disincentivize these guys from swinging the bat. They're going to swing the bat, and they're just hoping those optimized barrels. I don't know if anybody's using the torpedo here, but there's less wood to make contact with on the end of the bat, so maybe less opportunity for stingers. I really see it in terms of pitching, right? You are going to lose feel for the quote-unquote feel pitches, and feel pitches are change-ups and splitters, ones where you really need to feel the baseball off of your fingertips or in the middle of your fingers. You know, like you stand outside, it's really cold. Any normal human being can attest to this. You start to lose that sensation in your finger pads, and these guys are going to lose that. So how is Kodai Senga's forkball going to work? And Valente Belloso, that guy manipulates the baseball. He throws a bunch of different pitches. How's he going to be able to manipulate? Maybe he finds 2-3 pitches that he has a feel for on a cold night, and he sticks with those. Senga, he needs that forkball to survive. I wonder how he's going to feel that forkball off of his fingertips.
I like Bellosa's "the world's against me, I wasn't supposed to be here" attitude.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. This almost plays into his game for some reason.
A little symbolic, yes.
Symbolic for him. The thing that always amazes me, we all played this game at an amateur level, in high school and little league and so on, travel teams. It amazes me how well major league players play in this kind of weather, which is not baseball weather. And we had aluminum bats back in the day, and they don't even have that luxury. It really is amazing to me. But you're right, the grip of the ball, and plus they've been in spring training. They have not had any cold weather yet until right here. So it'll be interesting to see if neither team has an advantage. You can't say the Mets haven't played in this weather other than a few games over the weekend, but they're buzzing in New York. A lot of articles in the Post today. I got my newspaper. I don't know where the guy is. Have you bought a newspaper down here at the newspaper stand?
I haven't bought a newspaper at the newspaper stand.
There's an arm, but you never see the body. It just comes out with your change. I don't know where the guy was, but I got my Post and I read my Mets and Yankee baseball today. And I'm ready for this game.
Okay, so Craig did his New York thing. He got the paper. He got the New York Post.
Tell him what we did today.
We took the subway to the ballpark. That was our New York thing. And I got
to the 7, baby.
I didn't get a chopped cheese. I got a chicken cutlet sandwich, and you got your bacon, egg, and cheese. So we're all being New Yorkers today. It's great.
How'd you like it?
It was great. I had a great time.
Easy.
And the thing is, it was like 25, 30 minutes to the ballpark here. Like, didn't sit in any traffic. It was good. We caught the trains at the right time. I mean, just a phenomenal.
We barely made it. I got a break here, but we barely made it. We didn't have our Apple Pay wasn't working to get through this thing. So Jack had to get a Metro card. We got the Metro card.
I've got the Metro card.
You pay about $1 for those.
He swipes and he runs. And he gets onto the train, and I had to literally open up the doors because I was late. Okay, you guys are keeping me way too long. Craigie and Jack have your call at 7:10. Let's break. We got Steve's Guarantee Expo question all next right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Extra base hit in a Marlins uniform. First pitch, Mervis crushes out to right. Kelnick is back. He's looking up, and it's into the chop house and gone. Matt Mervis with the tone setter in the first. A 2-run homer, and the Marlins up 2-0 right away. Serving as the backup catcher right now. 1-1. Now on a bouncing ball over to third base. Paulie has it. On to second for one. On to first in time for the double play. Nearly a shift beater. The lefty bat Baldwin bounced one over to typical shortstop positioning. That's where Graham Paulie was.
Line drive, that's a base hit. And there's the first Major League RBI for Liam Hicks. Have a night. And the Marlins lead 3-0.
Baseball season is 18.
There's another drive by Mervis, deep to right field. That ball is gone and way out of here. Have a night, Matt Mervis. His second homer as a Marlin. A solo shot here in the top of the seventh.
Whoa. Family looking on. They're loving it. 104 off the bat, 421 feet to right center field. Mervis in Miami. Start to dig it.
A lot of firsts for you today. You had your first extra base hit, your first RBI, your first caught stealing, your first multi-hit game. Which one was your favorite?
Probably first win behind the plate. I'd say that's the most important. So I'd say that was my first. That was the most important thing to me, and I was really happy with that.
What if I told you last year you were in Double-A, that a year later you would be navigating this lineup, shutting them out with the help of your pitchers, of course, and having an offensive game like you had today?
It'd be pretty hard to believe you, to be honest. I know what I'm capable of, but...
NCL Cruise. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Well, here we go. We're 11 minutes away from first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Valente Belloso will go opposite Kodai Senga. Game one of this three-game set here in the Big Apple. The Marlins were postponed yesterday in Atlanta. Steven Strom, Craig Minervini, and Jack McMullen. Fox Sports 940 Miami. Let's get to our @Marlins Radio X-Poll question. 2 years ago, right here at Citi Field, the Marlins were battling for a playoff spot when the Rain had other ideas. Remember the whole tarp thing? Who was the Mets manager at the time? This is a layup. You should get it. Don't say Carlos Mendoza. Make sure to vote @Marlins Radio. It's time for Steve's Guarantee. We're going to pretend like the buzzer just went off, and that's okay. It's time for Steve's Guarantees. Okay, my guarantee here tonight, the Marlins draw 4 walks. I was going to tell Craig and Jack one of the elements I think are interesting. You can't walk guys when it's 40 degrees. You can't have your position players standing there with their hands in their warmers and their legs are shaking. You have to throw strikes. You got to keep the defense moving. I like Miami to draw 4 walks against Kodai Senga. Jack hit on it. It's hard to grip these pitches, and we know that Kodai Senga has a lethal forkball, and we know the Miami Marlins did a nice job hitting Kodai Senga's fastball early on. That first inning, Kyle Stowers, 2-run home run. It started with Xavier Edwards, double in the gap. They can hit Kodai Senga's fastball. You cannot let this guy get ahead of the count. I like the Marlins to draw 4 walks here tonight. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Craig Minervini, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. Marlins baseball is next. This is the Marlins Radio Network.